Today on Falcon Weekly, a dead body in a state park, the latest on Fort Hood, and the Muppets celebrate a special anniversary. All that and more coming up.
Hello and welcome into Falcon Weekly. I'm Dorothy Sherman.
And I'm Lauren Nickel.
Starting news today, Fort Hood gunman Major Nadal Hassan has been listed as conscious and in stable condition. Hassan was shot 4 times after shooting inside the Texas Army base, allegedly killing 13. Lieutenant General Robert Cohn said that they are concentrating on counseling for soldiers after the event. The FBI is looking into any terrorist connections, and an investigation was launched on whether the Army missed any critical warning signs.
On the 20th anniversary of the fall of the Berlin Wall, the wall is falling again, this time in the form of dominoes. Frederick Pleitgen has more.
As Berlin gears up for the celebrations to commemorate 20 years since the fall of the Berlin Wall, we are right at the Brandenburg Gate. And what you see behind me is actually one of the main attractions, one of the main festivities that people are going to be able to see on the evening of November 9th. What you see here are giant dominoes, and there's almost 1,000 of these giant dominoes. Now, the interesting thing is that each of these dominoes was specially custom painted somewhere in the world. There's a lot that were painted here in Germany, a lot were painted by schools, by artists. Some of them, however, and this is very interesting, were painted by artists in countries where walls still divide people. Now, one of those countries, of course, is South Korea, and An Kyu-chal is one of the artists who painted one of the dominoes.
Our wall looks totally different, but in the end, it's pretty much the same. It's a wall that divides people, it divides family, and it's still very much a factor in our country, he says.
The row of giant dominoes is several miles long, and in the evening of November 9th, as the commemoration celebrations go on, all of these are going to be toppled in what should be a giant spectacle here in the German capital. Fred Pleitgen, CNN, Berlin.
The fall of the Berlin Wall marked the union of East and West Germany.
The U.S. House of Representatives passed health care reform on to the Senate Saturday. Every Alabama representative voted against the bill. Congressman Arthur Davis said, quote, "I have voted no on the House legislation and continue to root for a final bill that fixes the holes in our health care system that contains soaring costs in both the private and public sectors." Coming up, we'll take a look at what's going around at Montevallo's campus. Stay tuned.
Remains found in Oak Mountain State Park over the weekend are believed to be the remains of Alabaster resident Howard Stanford. Stanford went missing September 1st, and his car was found at the Oak Mountain State Park.
Theater and the Magic City Actors Theater of Birmingham are co-producing the musical Parade. It opened on Friday, November 6th, and will run for a week at the Virginia Sanford Theater in Birmingham. Parade is based on the true story of Leo Frank, a wrongfully accused Jewish man who was tried and lynched for the murder of a young girl. 32 performers have been cast for this Alabama premiere, students and several Theater alumni.
Have you donated blood this year? Donations are crucial during the holiday season. Zeke Grayson shows us where to donate.
Some of the reasons for blood donation is we have some patients that has anemia, burnt victims, cancer patients, people who have bleeding disorders.
While giving blood can be an honorable act, not everyone is eligible to donate.
Some of the criteria that we have is that we would first do a mini physical on the donor, which consists of blood pressure, pulse, iron level. We also do a history on travel along with medical to see whether or not if the donor can donate.
Even though some people have limitations on what they can give, every few seconds another person is in need of blood.
Oh, I think everybody should give blood. It's a great thing to do. It's giving back, something that costs us absolutely nothing. It saves lives every single day.
Most people agree that saving lives is an act that is an important aspect of living in a modern-day society. For Falcon Weekly, this is Zeke Grayson reporting.
For more information, call Life South at their number or log on to lifesouth.org.
Montevallo has a new haven for plants and animals at Ebenezer Swamp. Falcon Weekly's Brittany McQueen shows you the research potential of this wetland.
Just a place for our students to get out and kind of get their hands and feet dirty, doing some real investigative work.
Biology professor Mike Hardy is one of 4 Montevallo faculty members that is passionate about this 4-acre property. He's excited about the opportunities students will have to explore what lives in this forest.
Several plant species that are considered rare, and one in fact that is protected by the federal government. That would be the Tennessee yellow-eyed grass.
While there are hundreds of species left to explore, future biologists are thrilled about their new learning environment.
Ebenezer Swamp offers a more first-hand experience of what real life is really about. It gives them a broad perspective of environmental aspects.
Dr. Hardig, as well as other contributors, plan to extend the swamp for more research.
Private citizens come out for tours. It's open anytime, any time of day, weather permitting. People can come out and just walk out on the boardwalk and enjoy it. So.
For Falcon Weekly, I'm Brittany McQueen reporting.
Ebenezer Swamp was donated by Montevallo resident Mildred Orr.
Just a reminder, students, pre-registration for spring semester starts this month. Advising begins Wednesday, November 11th. We'll be back with more news after a look at the forecast.
Sesame Street turns 40 this week. The PBS children's show, hosted by famous Jim Henson, Muppets Like Big Bird, celebrates with a special guest, Michelle Obama, kicking off the show's more nature-positive initiative. Carol Spiney, the voice of Big Bird, and Oscar the Grouch says it seems like years, but I'd never guessed 40.
Aerosmith may soon be looking for a new frontman. There are reports that lead singer Steven Tyler is leaving the band to focus on his solo career. Lead guitarist Brad Whitford says they are left with some big shoes to fill just a year away from their 40th anniversary. The band formed in 1970 and has since released 14 albums. Remaining members have not decided whether to look for a new singer or take a long hiatus. Coming up, what's worth tweeting about in sports with Twillie's Tweets.
Hey Tweety Birds, and welcome to, you guessed it, Twillie's Tweets. The gridirons were on fire this weekend from Tuscaloosa all the way to Kansas City, Missouri. Let's kick off things with some college football. Down in T-Town, Alabama clinched the Western Division SEC title last Saturday with its 24-15 win over LSU, meaning Florida and Alabama will face off in the SEC championship game for the 2nd straight year. The Gators are gunning for their 3rd SEC title in the last 4 years. The Crimson Tide hasn't won an SEC title since 1999. The face-off will take place on the AstroTurf of the Georgia Dome Saturday, December 5th. Speaking of domes, let's talk about the Superdome. The New Orleans Saints are off to their best start in the franchise's 43-year history. The Saints moved to 8-0 on Sunday in a 30-20 victory over the Carolina Panthers. But the Saints are not the only undefeated team. The Indianapolis Colts are also rocking that undefeated swagger, beating the Houston Texans 20-17 and keeping the Colts' winning streak intact. This next guy wishes he could have been more intact. Larry Johnson's record-breaking career as a Kansas City running back is over. The Chiefs confirmed Monday that they had ran out of patience with his off-the-field problems, such as posting on his Twitter page insults to fans, questioning Coach Todd Haley's credentials, and using a gay slur to reporters. He was released the day he was due to come back from his 2nd suspension in a year. Well, that's all I have for you this week, Tweety Birds, but if you want more sports news, tune in to Falcon Fever for all your UM sports highlights. For Dorothy Sherman and Lauren Nickel, I'm Twillie Cottingham. Fly above it and tune in again next week.